Most people watching this have probably already seen plenty of Metal Gear, but yeah, man, feel free to take it away.
Tyler, you going to give me a countdown, or do you just want me to go whenever?
You can go ahead and do the countdown yourself, I think.
Okay. Sonic, you can do the honours.
Absolutely, all right, man. 3, 2, 1, go. Best of luck, man. So, I imagine a lot of people here have played Metal Gear Solid. You're going to see a lot of interesting things in this run. We are playing on the PC version, which has a lot of bugs and glitches that you'll see used throughout the run. As Snake said earlier, we will be facing all the bosses, but I'll be trying my best to explain all the strats here. Starting off with this opening infiltration. For this opening segment, you're going to have 2 guards walking around while you wait for the credits to roll and the elevator to come down. In the meantime, and what you're going to see Snake do, farm alerts. Now, by the end of the game, Snake will need to have triggered 11 alerts. And if the player has more than 11 alerts by that point of the game, then a key item will become easier to acquire. But we'll get into the more details on that when we get to it. But for the meantime, just know that throughout the run, Snake's going to be triggering a lot of alerts. It's going to be fully intentional.
Yeah, every single one. Hopefully. We hope.
So while we are waiting for the elevator to come down, let me ask you a question. What got you into Metal Gear Solid in the first place?
In the first place, I watched...
Yeah, way back in the day.
Way back. I watched my brother play it because he's got a few years on me. So, yeah, I was watching him play it. It's the same reason like I first seen like Resident Evil as well. So they're my 2 favourite series, as they are for quite a lot of people out there. But yeah, I watched him do that. I remember when I first watched it was at this ninja fight, and one of the most iconic boss fights in the series. And yeah, so that's what really got me into it, and I just fell in love with the game. I think like Hideo Kojima is one of the best game creators to ever live. So.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, even in this game, there's so many little cool things in there. I think out of all of the games, I would argue this is probably the most iconic one to a lot of people. But Snake's just going to bait the guard here, run straight past him, and that's the opening infiltration done.
And I'm just going to interact with Showrun's question there. Yes, there is an any % run, which skips about 3 or 4 bosses. So, yeah, there is a different run as well.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing the comparison between any % and the all bosses route. Because this run will be about an hour 15 estimate, but the any % run I think is about half an hour now, with a lot of the recent strats.
Yeah, for those of you, we'll get to the more recent strat fully when we get to it, but if you guys see Metal Gear Solid actually made some like PC gaming news worldwide, because a famous streamer on their first casual playthrough discovered an unintentional skip that actually sent like the speedrun community of Metal Gear Solid wild. Like they went like when they seen it, it's like we need to find out if this is like redoable easily. And yeah, it made big news.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people in the chat today, even if you're not too sure about the Metal Gear speedrun, you'll definitely have known about that. What was the name of the glitch? The boba skip, isn't it?
Yes, it's the boba skip, yeah. Named after the streamer that found it.
Nice, and we'll get to that and we'll explain it fully when we get to it. For the meantime, though, we're just heading down to the first kind of encounter, I guess, as we go to rescue the Dark Chief.
Absolutely.
So, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, the reason we go to save the DARPA chief, he is one of the hostages that we've been sent in to save. And he also has one of the detonation codes that activates the ability for the terrorist to be able to do a nuclear strike. So we're going to kind of hope that he hasn't gave that away.
No, of course, it wouldn't be too good. One thing to point out as well is this is all bosses. There is actually a glitch in the section that Snake just went past, where in the any % category you can glitch your way through a wall, which will allow you to skip to the interrogation scene, which is like halfway through the game, I'd say. You like end up saving a lot of time. You skip a huge chunk of a lot of the bosses that you would otherwise not see in that run.
Yeah, so you skip. Let me just think. So you skip Merrill Guards, Revolver Ocelot, Tank Gunner, Grey Fox, and Psycho Mantis, and Sniper Wolf. So yeah.
So a lot of the most iconic boss battles in the game completely skipped over, and you're going to see throughout the game here there are still a lot of glitches that we use in the run. I think just kind of to go on what Snake was saying earlier about the boba skip, and there are a lot of skips that have been found in this game in recent years. But here is the guard rush of the game. I think this is a mandatory alert, is that correct?
Yes, this is auto alert, so you can't do anything about this.
So this will add to the count. Again, we need to reach 11 before we get to Metal Gear Rex's lair at the end of the game. So pretty straightforward here, just going to gun our way through all of these. You'll see him do a little tactical reload there, which will skip the reload animation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, much quicker way for us to get a full mag back into that gun.
It's interesting seeing the difference between this run and the remake of this run, which has recently gained a lot of traction as a speedrun. I think the Metal Gear speedrunning community recently had a tournament for the Twin Snakes. I think throughout this run, because you yourself are like a big Metal Gear speedrunner, I'll probably be asking questions to compare the two, because they both cover the same game, but the way they deal with things and the different strategies are very different from one another.
Yeah, massively different. So I've seen Twin Snakes that was released only for GameCube back in 2004. We had the ability to first-person shoot. The PC version of this game actually added that, so we will actually get to do that in this game, but not to the same effect. Like we can't aim for heads while in first-person like we could in the remake of this game.
And the big comparison is because it runs on the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine, it has very much a lot of the gameplay kind of quirks. But Snake's going to launch himself into our first boss battle against Revolver Ocelot. For this strat, Snake's just going to chase him with the SOCOM, just kind of poke him until it's over. There is another strat you can do, which involves a grenade. It is a lot riskier. I think Snake's just opting for the safest strategy here, where we just circle.
I love the reload.
And that is the first boss battle done.
Yeah, that was quite one of my better Ocelot fights that I know I've had recently. So marathon luck coming in for me a little bit.
So you'll notice at the end of at the end of all boss battles, Snake will almost level up. He'll be able to carry more ammo. He'll gain more health. And now we're just going to grab some grenades, and what we would usually do here on a casual run is you would call Merrill. You'd look on the back of the game case, which again, absolute genius move to break the fourth wall. Check the back of the game case, you call Merrill, you talk to each other for a little bit, and then she tells you she's going to unlock the door. Because it's a speed run, we're a little bit impatient. And you're going to see a glitch here in a second.
Yes.
Skip that entire section.
This is called the vent skip, or vent glitch rather. So we go over to where we came in earlier. See, have you noticed something missing from this hallway at all?
I don't know, some kind of vehicle that might have been there a little while ago.
Yeah.
This is just one of the many glitches you can perform.
Yeah, so this takes us out of bounds and stops us having to tactically go past the lasers. We can just... so I'm skipping the cutscene so fast by holding X. It's actually something that the game has built into it. So it allows us just to hold X and that gets rid of them basically. I wish I could skip them that fast without that.
I believe the console version doesn't have it, and Snake being used as speedrunners on console, he'll tell you how much he loves mashing for those codec calls. So here we are at boss number 2, throwing the chaff grenade here, and that will stop it from moving. He throws grenades over, try to land it in the lap of the gunner. And as you can see, you've got to time it. The gunner flashes kind of iframes. But as you can see here, Snake's going to get it done quite easily. GG.
Yeah. That was actually one of my better ones. So on my splits that you guys can't see, which is my PB splits, I'm actually minus 29 seconds at the moment, which is very good.
Very nice, dude. So potential marathon PB?
We could be seeing a marathon PB, but let's not jinx it.
No, I won't. Oh, you know what? I won't say anymore. But 2 runs coming up. You get to listen to our lovely voices for the Metal Gear Solid run, and then you've got Resident Evil 2 Remake coming up.
Yes. That's...
So I'll be a little bit more familiar with that. But we're on our way now to grab the Nikita, which is where one of the big kind of glitches and sets of glitches will come into play. So we've got the remote rocket launcher known as the Nikita. Going to make our way down to the basement. Was it the basement?
Yeah, well,
yeah,
B2. We'll call it B2.
B2. So I'll try my best to explain this, but we're coming up to a glitch that's going to be used throughout the run. Snake's doing it right now. It's called SWIM. It stands for Switch Weapons Infinite Momentum. I'm just going to call it SWIM by its acronym for the rest of the run. And on the PC version of MGS1, you can actually use the number keys to swap weapons on the fly. It saves you from actually going in the menu. And by spamming 2 of the number keys, you can actually stop your movement with the controller. And by spamming the keys, you'll move Snake forward by doing this kind of swim motion. And you can actually use it to skip a lot of kind of triggers and cutscenes.
Yeah, so very helpful for getting through like time saving, optimal time saving, shall we say.
And you're actually going to see this swim being utilised here. As you can see by the bottom right, you'll see Snake's weapon cycling. He's going to do it to skip a cutscene here that would usually be unskippable, where you would hear someone screaming because Grey Fox is slicing a dude up. You can't skip this one, but he is about to. I believe you're about to skip another one in a second, another cutscene.
It's not skipping, it's just sort of like it brings you closer to the door.
Oh, I see.
So rather than you having to
usually
run
it'd stop, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Now,
Well, it kind of skips the scene because it stopped. Yeah, it does skip the cutscene actually because you get a cutscene of him running forward to be closer, but with that swim glitch, we didn't have to do that.
And you're going to see that swim glitch mentioned a lot. And it's, again, one of the many things in the PC version that really break the game. But with Grey Fox, pretty standard punch, punch, kick combo. He's not going to let us use any weapons here because he just deflect them. I've read that you can actually use the squares on the floor here in the run to actually measure the distance. But Snake, knowing what he's doing here, punching up Grey Fox.
Just landed a little bit of a blow on us, but we've had the more critical hits than he has.
Exactly, he seems to be looking worse than you, so it's alright.
I think the judges have got us up on the scorecard at the moment.
And as you can see, like there's a lot of these bosses here, and they kind of go back to back. It's almost like a gauntlet for the first half of the game.
Yeah.
It's just funny that with the any percent category, you would be skipping pretty much everything we've seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a bit like of a boss rush for at least like a good 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. For like the first half of the run, you're very much just fighting bosses back to back. Each one of them kind of having its own gimmick.
like old times. I've been waiting for this day.
So what would you say is a better run, this one or the remake?
I think this is a better casual game. I think the Twin Snakes, for me personally, I prefer it as a speedrun. I think it's just things very smooth, and I just enjoy it genuinely. I like the gameplay, but there are a lot of people out there that prefer the MGS1 run to the Twin Snakes one. So all down to personal preference, but yeah, for me, I love the Twin Snakes as a speedrun.
Just nearing the end of this boss battle here.
We'll lose a little bit of time here compared to how we were doing, but...
So at the final part of the battle here, he's just going to shoot him a couple of times. And that's it, GG man, well played.
Yeah, so we lost 9 seconds there, but still good.
Still doing well, still surviving. And we'll be on our way to one of the more iconic, or say the most iconic fight of the game, which will be Psycho Mantis. Already seen his name a couple of times in the chat this evening.
Yeah, I did see someone mention that it's the best boss battle without question. Definitely a massive, like the first game to probably break the fourth wall so big. Like, if you watch the cutscenes, which we won't be doing, but if you do, he reads your memory card. I'm guessing he doesn't do that on the PC version, but back in the day when it was just a PS1 game, yeah, he was telling us what games you like.
Yeah, it was very interesting. If you had a memory card with some other Konami titles on there, he would say, "Oh, I see you like Castlevania and other games like that." He'd make you put the controller on the floor, and he'd kind of demonstrate his psychic abilities. And that was kind of very much baked into how the game or the boss would work. You would actually have to plug the controller into the second port in order to defeat him. Otherwise, he will be able to kind of read your mind. In essence, he'll see your inputs.
I know this place better than
To avoid that, I think in this game you just already have it bound, don't you, to
Yes,
different controls.
so we use a application called DS4, which is it's basically like gives us the ability to like bind controls and make our own profiles and stuff. And basically, we bind the shoot button to left control on the keyboard. So the game thinks that we're using the keyboard when actually we're using the game controller. So the keyboard would act as basically like the second controller.
The commander is waiting.
But we're clever like that.
And to give, I mean, I'm not a Metal Gear speedrunner myself, but to give credit where it is due, the Metal Gear speedrunning community is brilliant, and they've really helped. A massive shout out to them. Just reading through their wiki, I've been able to really understand a lot of the strategies that you use. So if you yourself are maybe looking into speedrunning Metal Gear today, definitely jump on that wiki. The community is always very happy to help. But here we are. Just going to throw a flashbang here because that's going to stop Meryl from shooting at us while she's being hypnotised by Psycho Mantis. So for this fight, you're going to see Snake kind of use the PC exclusive first-person shooting mode. You're going to see Psycho Mantis kind of flying around the room, and it just becomes a lot easier here. You can see him just kind of shoot at him when his iframes run out, which are indicated by him flashing. You can hear him saying that he can't read you because the game thinks we're playing on the second controller port.
This hasn't gone to plan so far, I must say.
That's okay, you got this. So an interesting thing about the PC version of this game is, because obviously we're not playing on the DualShock, we're not playing the PlayStation, I think on the PC version you would have to use the keyboard for the second controller.
Yeah.
Obviously because of DS4 Windows, which helps kind of use the PlayStation 4 controller, it avoids it. But I've played this casually before, and it's not fun having to switch to the keyboard.
Yeah, exactly. It's not easy.
Meryl, stand right where he can see you and blow your brains out.
Stop! Meryl!
So I'm going to throw another flashbang here that's going to stun Meryl, and then we're back into the fight. So you can kind of see when he goes into first person, like, it'll show it from a different perspective. It's because we're looking through the eyes of Psycho Mantis. And it's one of the ways the player will kind of work out where he's hiding. But there he is, GG. He didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, he didn't see that one coming at all. But yeah, that was actually a quite good fight. So we gained a couple of seconds back on our time there. So
I'll take point. Snake,
Very
you
nice. So I
follow.
think here is where you can actually do another out of bounds glitch. I don't think you're going to do it in this run.
no, the way to tell if someone's going to do it, they would have picked up the cardboard box a bit earlier. So I didn't do that. So that's how you know I'm not doing it, because the cardboard box, it basically uses the vent glitch in a specific way, using the cardboard box and I believe the scope. I'm not massively knowledgeable on that one because I don't do it myself, but from as far as I'm aware, that's how it's used.
I believe it's related to an exploit known as GME, or the God Mode exploit,
Yeah.
which I'll get into when we kind of backtrack shortly. I'll try my best to, but it is another glitch that uses a very similar technique to swim. So again, you can use the number keys on the PC version to switch weapons on the fly, and you can do it with a different set of weapons to basically get God Mode. But we'll get into that shortly. We're just going to watch Meryl here, who tries to impress us by showing that she can see where the mines are placed. And I believe in this, you just run straight forward, don't you?
Yeah, and I think Meryl just overthinks this. Like, it's run straight forward, Meryl. Come on.
So, what do you think?
I mean,
Good, huh?
the fort is there, you know what I mean? Just
She's
go
like-
into the mines, be careful, but...
Yeah, she's looking out for us, but she's just making it a long old time, isn't she?
Well, if there's one thing Metal Gear Solid likes to do, is it does like to sit there and explain things for a very long time. We do love it for that reason. So approaching another boss battle here, but we're not going to do it just yet. We're fighting Sniper Wolf. Meryl's just been shot. And they're going to be using Meryl as baits, but we have to backtrack. This is one of the massive backtracking sections that I don't think is in the remake. There's about a few of them in this game, but in the remake they opt to shorten it.
Yeah, so in the remake, you only backtrack like about 3 or 4 rooms, where on this it's probably about double that, maybe even a little bit more.
Just to give some perspective, we're heading back to the armory, which is the room before we fought Ocelot. So that's way back earlier on in the game. As far as I know, there is no glitch to teleport there, but it should be a pretty smooth sailing walk back there.
Yeah, there's no glitch to make that faster, unfortunately.
So I guess while we're on our way back, let's try and explain the God Mode exploit, or the GME as we'll be referring to it. So it's very similar to the swim strat. Again, you use the number keys to cycle between weapons. We've got to go back to the armory. We have to get the PSG-1 sniper rifle. What's going to happen is when you equip the sniper rifle, Snake's going to lay down on the floor, and by cycling back and forth, with the number keys between the PSG-1 and another weapon, I think it kind of does something where it stops him from laying down, and it kind of makes him invincible.
Yeah. So that's the
Does that sound right?
Yeah, exactly that. And there is something really big we forgot to explain. So you notice how I've always got a weapon equipped? Snake actually moves a lot faster when a gun is equipped. You probably, if you notice it, you can probably slightly tell the difference just from me unequipping it and doing it there. But yeah, he always runs faster when he's got something equipped. Something I didn't know until I first started running the game, and one of the speedrun community members came into my channel and just said, oh, by the way, gave me this tip. So another example of the community being really helpful.
Definitely agree with what Showrun said about the twin snakes kind of being very over the top, and I think it's very much it's intentionally done. So I think from a speedrunning perspective, it's better in terms of gameplay. But if you were going to play the story for the first time, I'd probably recommend playing this one. But in terms of the gameplay, it is using the MGS2 engine, which
yeah, this has not gone great. So we're going to have to go for the backup strat. So the backup strat is coming out of this room and just going back in. So yeah, it's it didn't go to plan, but that's what happens sometimes, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, when you're in an alert phase, you're unable to interact with the elevator and stuff. You've got to kind of either escape the room through the means that you saw, or fight them head on, or try to hide. The snake gets out with the PSG-1 in hand, and now we're on our way back to visit Sniper Wolf.
So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, the strat was, well, as he wakes up, I was going to choke him out, but unfortunately, he turned round before I had the chance to grab him because of my poor positioning, so he didn't get it. But as Sonic explained a moment ago, you see what I did there when I clicked 0 and 9. 0 is binded to PSG-1. You have to lay down to use the PSG-1, but we quickly clicked 9, which brought the chaff grenade up. And this field, you wouldn't think it, but is actually covered in mines all over the place. But because we're in GME, it doesn't trigger them. I did play MGS Survive as well. Yes, I did Showrun. I played it for about 30 minutes, and that was about it. That was enough for me. I wasn't a big fan, put it that way.
Let's just wait for this guard to go across. Snake's going to throw him across again. And double tap here, and it will open up the elevator. And back the way we came, through the caves, through Psycho Mantis' little office.
It had the name Metal Gear in it. Yeah, that's why I played it, but not for long.
I definitely did not play Metal Gear Survive. Not a fan of it. One of the most tone-deaf things I've ever seen from a game company. In regards to what the fans want.
Yes, it wasn't on board with what a Metal Gear Solid fan would want, I guess.
So you see Snake grab the diazepam a little earlier on. That's going to help with the recoil, or kind of the sway of the sniper rifle.
So yeah, I think potentially this is where I'm going to see my first red split. Because of what happened in the armory. Yeah. And we get the bad RNG where she goes behind the pillar straight away. Which is not great.
GG, dude, well played.
Yeah, it was a alright fight, that one.
I know it started off with bad RNG, but you recovered pretty well.
Yeah.
So Meryl's missing though.
Yeah, so plus 34 seconds on that split, so we're at plus 11 on the actual splits, but that whole segment we lost 34 seconds because of what happened in the armory.
Don't move!
So this is where we head on to the torture section. As I mentioned at the beginning of the run, there is a glitch in any percent where you can basically glitch for a vent, run out of the map, and you teleport here. So everything that you've seen leading up to this point of the game, completely skipped in the any percent run.
Yeah, absolutely.
You win.
And obviously it's faster, but we have to go with a non-canon route and let Meryl die.
Yeah, she just gets in the way anyway. Like,
The torture will
Otacon ending is canon. Don't at me.
I'll have my
No, yeah, we yeah, you do What was I going to say? Yes, you do kill Meryl in the run because it is a lot faster, as Sornek just explained.
Sure, many people in the chat who played this back in the day maybe broke a couple of controls over this. But here we are, this tower. And this is where we're going to be seeing the swim method utilised very shortly. What I'll do is I won't explain. I'll explain it right as you do it. Are you going for the swim method or are you playing it safe?
I'm going to go for the swim method. We tried it earlier on the practice and it didn't work, so it wastes about 5 seconds, maybe a little bit longer than 5 seconds. But the swim method sort of gets us out of the room without us having to see a cutscene of Snake getting his clothes back on, basically.
Yeah, so at the moment we don't have any of our weapons. Unable to do the swim, but once Octocon comes by, gives us the catch up, and Johnny leaves, set ourselves up to look like we died in the cell. And you're going to see Snake. I believe you kill Johnny?
So do you say that again for me?
Do you kill Johnny?
Yes, you do.
There we go. So showrun. There we go. Not just one, but 2 time paradoxes in the Metal Gear canon, as we see both Johnny and Meryl meet their fate very early on.
Well, we wouldn't have done this if Kojima didn't betray us and made Snake's one true love go over to Johnny Akiba.
Hey, I'm here. Where?
So Archon's arrive with his stealth camo. Going to give us the catch up. Brilliant set of cutscenes here as well. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see a lot of them. But in terms of pushing the story forward, just top notch, honestly. So he's going to set the catch up on the floor, make it look like he's bled out. He's going to equip the level 6 card so we can get out of the room quicker, instead of having to equip it early. So what you're going to see here is the swim strap. We're going to kill Johnny. And he's going to grab the items. When he grabs the box full of his items, Snake's going to get all of his weapons back. So once he runs into with a certain lineup, he runs into the box, picks it up. If he can do it correctly here.
And by delaying that by a slight second, we actually get another alert. If you can do that so you don't get alerted, but we want the alert. Or again, just my line.
Very close.
My line wasn't great, so if you have a good line, it'll take you through. But unfortunately, my line wasn't.
I think it's a good
best.
demonstration for the sake of the marathon, though. I think you could see that Snake ran up to the door using the swim method. He was switching back and forth between his weapons that he just obtained. He would have run out of there, skipped the cutscene, but unfortunately, because he wasn't able to, you see that Snake automatically runs back behind the chair to get changed. I think if you do it correctly, it saves about 6 seconds or so.
Yeah, about
But
that. And again, we go into Jimmy.
God mode exploit here, running across, avoiding all of the mines. It's not getting hit. Now, even though you hear the alert noise, these gun cameras do not count as an alert. I should have probably kept count of the amount of alerts, but we should have more than enough before the end of the game. Again, with farming alerts, we'll explain when we get there. So now we're just kind of retracing our steps here.
And just to explain that... sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, go right ahead.
No, just to explain that unequipped there as well, when you're going over floors, if you do that, it can stop the sound being made. I was doing it for safety reasons, just in case the guard does hear you. He rarely does, but just to be safe, I did it so that they can't hear me and they don't get distracted and start running my way.
Another big risk in that room, if you've played the story, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about, but you can't actually equip your weapons in there. There are a load of nuclear warheads, and if you get alerted, they'll start shooting, the room will fill up with gas. So that's why it tries its best to play it safe there, but nothing to worry about now. We're basically retracing our steps to the communications tower, where we're going to be approaching one of the more recent and massive finds in the speedrun.
So we skipped it earlier, but this In the cutscene in the prison, Archon gives you this, which is from Sniper Wolf. He becomes a little bit pally with Sniper Wolf. And she gave him this. And basically, because Sniper Wolf is the owner of these dogs can smell her and they don't attack us anymore because they actually love the scent of Sniper Wolf.
There's actually a really cool little, I don't know if it's an Easter egg, but you can't really I don't think you can use it in the speedrun. But earlier on when you go through here with Meryl, if you were to hit Meryl and equip the box, the dog will actually pee on the box and they won't attack you.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's quite a funny thing to do on a casual playthrough for sure. So again, we did that. That skips a little cutscene of us triggering the camera. So that's why we did that as well.
Here we've got the infamous communications tower climb, running up several floors here, with the guards hot on our tail. This is another mandatory alert, but another one we can add to the list here. And you're going to be approaching. Is it here that the skip is? It's here, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Coming up that
yeah.
list.
So we throw the grenades on floor 5 and floor 8. Because stun grenades not come out.
So usually this door,
Yeah, didn't quite work.
that's okay. I'll explain it just after. Just to keep in mind, there is a 50% chance, I believe I read, but we've done it. GG. So how that works is in the storyline, that door is frozen shut. You have to climb all the way up to the top, and you then have to run from a helicopter that's shooting at you. You've got to climb down. We've just skipped that entire section. It's a very recent find, and it's incredible. Like Snake said, it was found in a casual run, and it's just amazing just to see how many of these things are now still being found to this day.
Yeah, absolutely. You wouldn't think a game that was made in 1998 would still have a new skip found for it in 2021, but yeah, here we are. But yeah, so there is a few setups for the boba skip that we just did as well. So there's the stun grenade, the chaff grenade. The chaff grenade is usually a lot more reliable, and then there is the SOCOM one. However, as I've just said, the chaff grenade is the one that didn't work for me, and the SOCOM one that has actually worked for me in the last 2 or 3 runs that I've done of the game. So maybe I should start going back to the SOCOM strat.
That's why the name's SnakeSocom. Something I didn't know is you can actually skip this cutscene with, I believe it's Swim, or it might be GME 2, but nothing too crazy here. That was the God mode exploit, I believe, just to get you up here. Take no damage running away, you don't have to worry about these gun cameras. And we're approaching our next boss battle, the Hind D, which you would have seen earlier, but we've just completely skipped it.
The Hind D.
What's a Russian gunship doing here?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
That took me off guard, to be honest.
Sorry, I didn't mean to shock you guys.
Oh no, it was perfect, to be honest.
Yeah, that was perfect. Keep doing stuff like that. But in terms of finding the same MGS shirt, it sounds bad, but I actually got this off Wish. But yeah, it's yeah, that's how I found it. So if you go on Wish, you might find it.
So you'll see that Snake went into first-person mode there before going up the ladder. Because he did the GME, the God mode exploits. When you are in that stage, you actually can't interact with ladders or elevators, but you can then reactivate that trigger by going into first person. But we're here at Hind D, pretty self-explanatory because we are again in the GME. We're invincible here. We can just stand, keep posted here, and just shoot with the stinger.
Ooh. Shooting's not on point at the moment, I must say.
Oh, that was a nice shot though, well played.
my shooting is being very terrible at the minute. And there's that famous hind D, or as we like to call it, hind dumb.
And because we've done the GME here, that would usually, I think that would kill you in one hit, but we actually got away with it.
Yeah, we do move into a certain area where it can't hit us. So that's what I did anyway, but yeah, well, I don't think it can kill you when you're in GME. So now we have him in a loop, and you don't want to get him out of this loop because he'll go underneath. But in this loop,
Now, right as we're nearing the end of the fight here, another thing that can happen in the game or in this fight is that the hind D will disappear off screen for a little bit. Thankfully, you haven't had that issue happen. It usually wastes quite a bit of time, but I think you've had a pretty good fight with the hind.
yeah, so I think we'll go back in the green on this split, potentially.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, look how many stinger missiles this hind just took. Just to take, I mean, it hasn't even been shot down yet.
Yeah, so we've just gone from plus 11 to minus 11 on the splits, so did pretty good.
You do love to see it. So I'm sure that's the last we'll see of Liquid Snake. I'm sure he's definitely not going to come up. That had to kill him.
Yeah, surely. Yeah.
Had to.
Yeah, definitely. No one survives that.
No one survives a helicopter crash like that. Are you joking me? But you've just seen Snake do the GME again to just get past these cameras. Again, no alerts here, sadly. They don't count. But we're going to get through here pretty easily. And while we're on this climb down, again, I just want to give a massive shout out to the Metal Gear speedrunners community. If anyone, again, here is watching and thinks they want to speedrun this absolute classic, that would be the first place I think people should look. They've got so many different resources and guides that help me, who doesn't speedrun this game, really learn a lot of the stuff and the strats that go into this game.
So this is just a bit of a run down the stairs. I must say, for I think he's about 30 in this or something like that. He's a very healthy man. So I'm going to try and do this skip. It might not work because I've only just learned it about half an hour ago. Oh, there we go.
Very nice. There we go.
First try, let's go.
Let's go.
Love to see it.
I was saying to Sonic before, I was like, I'll see what my time says like, but I thought, why not show it off? Let's go.
So here it's Sniper Wolf 2. You can use the Stinger here. It's a sniper battle, but you can use the Stinger to see the little squares. You can see where Sniper Wolf is hiding.
Maybe I got confused where she was. Unless she just turned over. She missed me, thank God.
Yeah, she is. Nice.
That's the RNG you want.
That's the marathon RNG you like to see.
Yeah, I didn't know she could miss, to be honest.
In the any percent run, you can actually use a mixture of the swim and GME strat to walk forward, and you can keep running forward into a death trigger, and you can skip this fight entirely. But because it's all bosses, we've got to do exactly as it says in the name. We've got to fight each and every boss.
Right,
I don't have ammo here, but you've got some here.
Let's get the Stinger out.
Very iconic fight though, and again, I just love how each boss fight introduces something different and uses a different mechanic. Ooh, one shot, one kill. Very nice.
And from the first time doing that split, we just saved 1 minute and 12 seconds.
There we go, you do love to see it. And we're now approaching what on the PlayStation would be the end of Disc 1, the Blast Furnace. You can see a very interesting glitch right here. Using the GME glitch here, look at that, falls straight through and skips the climb across the crane.
Yeah, makes things a lot easier.
So that would skip a section where you would see Snake have to kind of climb over this crane and kind of duck and weave around it.
Yeah.
We've just clicked for the floor. Is that through using the GME strat?
Yes, that was GME.
So for equipping the sniper and then equipping a different weapon, he was able to almost skip through that.
Oh, he's been annoying, but okay. There we go. We got him over in the
Another
end.
encounter on the elevator. Also, with the glitch you did earlier, we completely skipped over it because I had no idea, but he skipped another fight on the elevator where you would fight a load of guys in stealth camouflage.
Yes, you do. So they're not a mandatory boss fight, so we're allowed to skip that one. So there we go. It's nice if we could do that at Maryland Guard, so we wouldn't have to go through that hell. But unfortunately, we don't get that.
So, in terms of the story, this is really where the story begins to kind of wrap up. A lot of the game's big plot twists and big exposition dumps and codec calls coming in and revealing all of these plot twists almost back to back here as we make our way to Vulcan Raven. But yeah, man, I mean, while we're on this elevator, I will ask, what is your favourite MGS game to speedrun out of all of them?
I'm going to go back to it and say Twin Snakes. I think it's got obviously a lot of credit really in the speedrun community recently because of the Twin Snakes tournament we did. I just think it has the elements, it has that MGS1 feel and the iconic characters, and it also has that Metal Gear Solid 2 engine that just makes it so nice and smooth to play.
Absolutely. Here we are at Vulcan Raven. We've seen that he's just activated the GME again. We're in God mode right now, so we're free to just stand here and shoot all of our Nikita rounds and all of the grenades here without taking any damage. And it's just as easy as this. And this boss fight is pretty much the exact same in the Twin Snakes, except you just use the stinger and you just unload into it. Snake's just going to use the grenades here. Because we've got the God mode exploit, these bullets are doing nothing.
Would you say that your play so far in this run has been solid?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. It certainly would.
Well, if
So
you're
here-
watching, you can go ahead and do us a solid and give us some donations. I can tell you about some of those incentives and prizes if you've got a second. But
Yeah, go ahead.
so, got some great prizes. We're coming up on Metal Gear here. Tonight, if you get a donation in before 10 p.m. Eastern Time, the prize tonight is a great set of Chrono Trigger Pearlers. They look really, really cool there. And then our incentives coming up. So got that Ninja Gaiden Black run costume choice incentive, Black Falcon, Dragon Muscle, Red Muffler, Dead or Alive, Classic Blue. That is open until the start of the run at 11:40 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. So get those donations in the chat. If you want the link, you can do !. Donate. All the proceeds will go towards the prize pool for next year's SGL tournament. So get those donations in, and yeah, let's get some hype going for the coming up on the end of this run.
So here we go, Liquid and Ocelot having a little mother's meeting.
Snake,
We're just gonna spy on them, basically.
I believe this is where you lose the power key, isn't it?
Yes, so I've just lost the power key that we gained from President Baker. The power key is basically a key that activates the detonation code to allow the terrorists to launch a nuclear strike. So what we didn't know is, because we were led to believe there's 3 keys. However, Otacon has just informed us that there is a trick to using the key, and it is controlled by temperature. However, just as we found that out, Ocelot seen us peeking in on him, shot us, and we lost the key in the drainage ditch. And we're going to go get it.
So, at the beginning of the run, you might remember us talking about farming alert. And because we have had over 11 alerts throughout the course of the game here, we can just go into the drainage ditch and grab the key. If you have less than 11 alerts, a rat will actually eat the key, and you'll have to run around. I think it's in several different spots that it can be. You need to kill the rat and then gain it.
I should have enough of that.
Pick up a secret bomb there that we're going to throw away.
Definitely got
And
enough
also-
of that, so it's hiding somewhere.
Is the spawn for the key just random?
It's in 5 spots, or 6 spots. I think it's 6, but yeah. Yes, this is, as Mega has just mentioned, this is my favourite music from the series, the underground bass music. And I just love the zoom. Yes, and one, that is what triggers the rat. So the rat will eat the key if you do not get enough alerts. If you do get enough alerts, you get what? I just got where it's in the drainage ditch. Yeah, exactly what Luke said. That's my favourite. The zoom, zoom. The start of it is just I think they did. Metal Gear Solid is great for its music anyway, but I think that one just, well, yeah, very good piece of music for Metal Gear Solid. That
Honestly, the soundtrack to this game, even all of the games are incredible, but MGS1 in particular, just that theme, it just kicks in as you walk in. This low-angle shot of Metal Gear, you finally hear you've made it after hours of cutscenes and gameplay, and it really helps you realise just how close you are to stopping Metal Gear.
Exactly, yeah, it's fantastic stuff. Well, I will explain as well, not explain, just to give you guys an update. So on the last split, we were 1 minute 7 ahead of our time because of the bad PAL key find. We are now we're on 35 times save, so we're still in the green, but not as much as we were.
So now we come up to one of the big backtracking sections. As Snake explained, the PAL key is not just one key, it's 3 keys. We've inserted the first edition, which is where it's just normal. We now have to go back and we have to freeze the key and we have to heat the key. So we need to backtrack to the beginning of the blast furnace, and then it's the second massive backtrack of the game. Interestingly enough, the remake completely cuts it out, but it takes 1 minute and 1 second for the PAL key to change its state.
I was literally just getting ready to explain that, but you beat me to it, so well done for remembering that. But yeah, 61 seconds, so when my timer's on 54:41, I'm not sure how close the RTA one is to mine. But yeah, each time you're into a room, 61 seconds. As we're on a marathon, I will be checking it just to make sure, because you lose a lot of time if you don't.
I believe there's still a bounty as well towards finding the skip for the PAL key. As you see, and a lot of waiting here. What is the bounty? Exactly.
Last time I checked, it was at $1,000. So if someone finds that skip, they'll be a bit better off than they were before they found the skip.
Very nice payday. and would be a massive benefit to the MGS community. I'm sure they'll be very happy to see a skip that cuts out a lot of the backtracking.
Yes.
It's interesting to see how the remake of this game actually handles the backtracking.
Yeah, the remake of this game, basically, we don't actually... On the remake, so Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes that we touched on a few times, we... Basically, what we do is we don't leave this section. We don't leave the underground base. We don't go back to Raven. We don't go anywhere because there's actually 2 steam pipes that we can shoot. One, I don't know what the idea is, what they shoot out. I think one will be sort of nitrogen or something.
Like hydrogen.
Yeah.
Sorry, nitrogen
and they
just steam.
Yeah, and one of them freezes the key and one of them heats the key, so it makes things a little easy for us. I'm not quite sure, Dr. Jet, to be honest. I'm not 100% on whether it's faster to do it one way or the other. I'm pretty sure you have to do it in order. There you go. Luke's found the power skip.
I mean, it's a solid radar, to be honest. I think definitely worth looking into. I'm sure it's possible. I mean, skips are still being found for this game. And if you really want to see just how many bugs and glitches and exploits there are in this run, check out the any percent run.
I don't know if I'll ever get it approved, but I'm going to petition for this song to be played at my wedding one day. I don't think it'll get agreed though. To be honest.
Orchestral Metal Gear theme would go pretty well.
Best man in a genome soldier suit and a sneaking suit.
Snake will show off to his wedding in the sneaking suit and the bandana. He's already got the bandana. He's rocking it tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. The bandana idea actually came from my stream when I had back in December 2020, where I had a Santa hat channel point redeem. And once Christmas was over, it was like, damn, we don't have a channel point redeem. And I think it was yourself, Sornek, that said, get the bandana. So
yeah, that's great. I mean, that's almost. I just realised that's almost a year ago. We're way into November now. I just kind of dawned on me that it's been about a year since that happened. But as we do backtrack, my question is, what is your favourite MGS game, just as a whole?
As a whole, so casually, like I said, I've already touched on my favourite speedrun, but casually, I would always go to this.
I don't think I can really disagree with that. I think the first one is just so iconic. I think each MGS game does its own thing. But this one, for a lot of us, it's where we all started.
Yeah, I think for me, casually, and from a casual aspect, I've not speedrun Metal Gear Solid 3 yet. But I was going to say casually 1 and 3 are the closest two for me to go. It's hard to decide which one between the two, because Metal Gear Solid 3 is such a great game as well. I think it adds some great elements. Again, another game that I think was way ahead of its time. Still holds up really well, especially with the HD collection that came out on both Xbox and PS3. Is accessible on PS4 and Xbox One X and all that stuff as well. So, yeah, really good.
Just need a PC version, and I definitely agree. MGS3 is great. One that I love watching the cutscenes from that game, or I love watching other people play it. I know people tend to make a joke that MGS is kind of like a movie, but the cutscenes and that pay so much tribute to a lot of the spy thrillers of the 60s. It's always a great watch.
Yeah, I think even one of the codec calls in MGS3 talks about James Bond. And it definitely has that sort of feel, like it is a James Bond typey game. So it has that feel where it's like agent sent in, and he's doing all this works, and there's villains, and so it's definitely got that James Bond feel to it.
Definitely. I think even the intro, like, and the music that plays, the main theme, pays a lot. It's basically ripped straight from a James Bond film. But here we are waiting for the power key to heat up. It's done now. We can head back, input it, and supposedly deactivate Metal Gear. But unknown to Snake, it's actually going to activate all of it, I believe.
I don't know what you're on about.
The power key's activating Metal Gear.
I'm sure you're lying about that. We're going to stop Metal Gear from being activated.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry, yeah.
The
game's going to end here, isn't it? And
it's going to, we'll
save Meryl as well.
Yeah, we're going to stop Metal Gear from launching. Like, we've got this. Like,
Absolutely.
I think Sonic's just got a bit confused here. Okay.
Absolutely. And I agree. I think it's surprising that they haven't ported all of the MGS games to more recent hardware and PC.
Yeah,
and what you're seeing here is the PC version, but
yeah, I think Metal Gear Solid 2 and 1 are on PC, but after that, even emulated, it's not great. Twin Snakes is good actually emulated, but 3 and 4. I think 4 on the PS3 emulator is basically a laggy hell because it's just not optimized and not been teched up to be allowed to run on a PC yet. And MGS3 I've heard isn't runnable on emulator at all. It's from what I was speaking to one of the MGS3 speedrun mods, he said it's not even an accepted on the board speedrun because of how bad it runs.
I didn't know that, but again, it's just a shame that 3 and 4 aren't accessible on other consoles. I think 3, out of everything, really deserves another port.
Yes, I'd certainly agree. MGS3 on PC makes things so much more accessible, and it would be an excellent addition to the PC gaming, I think.
Maybe one day. What would you say about, because there's been a lot of rumours over the past few years of a Metal Gear Solid remake. What do you think of that?
What do I think of that?
Would you like to see a remake?
I would like to see it, but only if it's done right. And a lot of people have asked my opinion on this a few times in my channel, and I've said, you've got looking at it from Konami's point of view, there's a lot to lose with a remake, because if they get it wrong, that iconic title that they have is remembered for, do you remember when they remade it and it was terrible? So there is a lot to lose in terms of making a remake. Same with Silent Hill, because a lot of people talk about a Silent Hill remake and a new Silent Hill all the time. So yeah, there's a lot to lose.
There is a bit of a risk with kind of how Konami are these days with their games. I definitely would want to see it done right.
Yeah, you'd want to see it done.
Thank you.
Here's another alert. I think call up Otcon, let him know. Kinda need some help here, buddy.
Not having to spam through codecs is the best thing about the PC version as well.
I was going to ask what the big difference is coming from console.
That is the big difference, I'd say, and the ease of doing like weapons, like GME and stuff.
Yeah, so as Snake said here, we're going to be using the God Mode exploit to just kind of unload into Rex for phase 1, using the Stinger here to blast the radome. But, and I didn't see this coming, but Metal Gear's been activated.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't mention it or anything.
No,
Metal Gear.
There we go again.
Got this unskippable cutscene.
Yes, so yeah, this one we have to watch.
Isn't there a little glitch you can do here?
It's not, but you can do. I can make it look like this.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Perfect.
It doesn't do anything, but it's quite funny to watch.
You kind of see how the game kind of positions Snake, because usually you would only see this through the viewpoint of the Stinger. But there you go, he's done the GME again for phase 2. This time the radar's destroyed. We're going to aim directly for Liquid, who's already taken several Stingers today, but we'll take a few more for this boss battle. And again, this is the last gauntlet of boss battles, but we hunt the Stingers here, so we should get through this without any issues. Metal Gear's been stopped. But now we move on to the Liquid Snake fight.
Yes, we do, and yeah, we're seeing. We're going to try and save Meryl because she's definitely not dead.
No, definitely not the consequence of us
Submitted to
giving up
torture.
Ocelot's torture.
He wouldn't do that. He's a nice guy, isn't he? Right. He wouldn't do that to us.
Absolutely not. But on top of this, broken down Metal Gear, twin Snakes are about to fight. It's a melee only fight. You see Snake goes for the throw here. Let's see if he can do what is called the single punch infinite string. So instead of the iframes, you can see that he's kind of getting him trapped in this loop, and it's a very, very specific and precise timing. But you can get him stuck in this loop where you can just hit him infinitely. Snake's getting him in some decent loops here. It's a very difficult strat to pull off, but he's doing pretty damn well so far. And yeah, like Luke said, his favourite part of the run.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
What's wrong, Snake?
Ooh. This is getting a bit risky now. Ooh.
Okay, though, plenty on the line here.
I'm going to play back. I'm going back to punch kicks because he is very close to killing me.
Again, you've got time here till the bomb explodes. You can see in the background right behind us with Meryl tied up in the background. Snake should make quick work of Liquid here. Ooh, unlucky dude.
I was just trying to bait him and know where he was going. And yeah, not good. That probably takes the PB off us, to be honest.
How about you, Snake?
And we're probably looking at a really good one as well. I hate this fight so damn much.
Like we said, it's Snake's favourite fight in the game. It would be interesting to see how they would redesign this fight. A lot of the more recent MGS games involve CQC and like a more intricate melee system. It'd be interesting to see if maybe they'll add that into a remake if possible.
Yeah. It was going quite well at the start of that first fight there as well. But again, he's been quite nasty here.
To be fair, the run's been pretty conty so far. It wouldn't be a marathon without a couple of memes, and what better way than to have it happen at Liquid.
What's wrong, Snake?
We're gonna run it close again.
That's okay for the content.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's so
Really?
unlucky. Yeah. 1 HP in a dream. I'm so sorry, dude. But you got this. This is probably, I'd say it's the most. Would you say it's the most challenging fight in the game?
For me, it
You know,
is.
in the run?
Yeah.
How about you, Snake?
For me, certainly. There's people that can do this with their hands tied behind their back because they're just so good at.
It's insane seeing a lot of the runners who can pull the infinite strat off very well.
Is there like a rhythm to that infinite punch strat, or is it just a mash as hard as you can thing?
There is a certain rhythm, and some of the speedrun community have created like a mono thing that does a sound which teaches you how to sort of do it, but I can't get it. You have to be a certain skill level, I guess, to do it.
To be fair, you're getting it down like quite a bit in some places.
He was close to taking me out again then.
Honestly, I'm on the edge of my seat right now, but
There we go.
there you go.
Hey,
One HP in a
unclench.
dream. And breathe.
So we just went from a minus 41 time save to a plus 2 minutes 23.
Unlucky, man, but it can just show you just how far into this run things can go wrong. But we're on the escape here now, and like Luke said, there's a lot of people who just mute their game and just have the rhythm just so they can get it down, just to kind of give you an idea of how specific the rhythm is for that fight. So a very interesting thing about this fight, if Snake was playing on console or emulator, he could actually control the guards at the checkpoints. I think it was only discovered recently in August.
Yes,
But if
it
you have
was,
enough
yeah.
controller plugged in, I think if you hold a D-pad on there, it'll move them into your gunfire essentially. Fortunately though, many glitches available on the PC and that are PC exclusive, that not being one of them.
Yes, exactly. There we go. So now we're on to the final bit, and Liquid's dead now, so we can just chill out.
Absolutely, it's got to be the end of the game, right?
Yeah.
Wait, what? No way. He survived?
God damn it.
I can't believe it. He's made it through a helicopter crash, a Metal Gear crash, being punched off a Metal Gear, and finally here we are dealing with him. It actually takes 21 hits on Liquid, which you can hear from him screaming on normal mode. For the most part, it's just going to be kind of tracking Liquid here with a machine gun.
So we're just playing a bit of bumper cars. Probably seen this done at your local theme park. I'm sure they have the machine guns.
There's always one good.
I'm sure they have machine guns on theirs as well.
But I think this is the escape portion, almost at the end of the game here. And again, just an incredible game. Anyone in here who's watching this hasn't played it, definitely recommend it. And if you're thinking of speedrunning it, Metal Gear speedrunners definitely go for it. They've got so many in-depth guides explaining it all. I would recommend it. It's a really good speed game to watch. There you go.
And this is another thing that's good about the PC version. One button press skips the credits. So it's very nice.
Is that time?
Yeah, so that is time.
Nice.
And we
GG.
made a 1:15:06, which is 2 minutes and a half above my PB. We're on for a very good PB, but unfortunately Liquid Snake is the memer that keeps on giving.
Snake's favourite fight of all time. But 17 alerts, not too bad, to be honest. A really good run overall. GG's, dude.
Thanks for the GGs, and I hope you enjoyed the showcase that is Metal Gear Solid. I really enjoyed showing that off. I had lots of fun playing that game, and I will continue to play that game for many, many more years to come. Tyler, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, thanks for the run. That was awesome. And we're going to give you a break here, and we're going to see you back here in just a few minutes for Resident Evil 2 Remake. So stick around, and we'll be right back with more SnakeSocom and Resident Evil.
Sweet.
Right, I'll be back. I'll be back in like 2 seconds. I'm just going to run to the bathroom.